Hey guys, this is Danny Boy. I'm back from being out of town. I mentioned that in a previous video. And I apologize, I really would have liked to have gotten more work done before I left. I did what I could, but when it comes down to it, my girlfriend does take priority over Orcs Must Die 2. So, this is the crossing. This is a crossing on Nightmare. I'll be getting 5 skulls. I always will try to get 5 skulls. I won't actually make the video until I get 5 skulls, so always assume this is 5 skulls in the end. And this was actually done in one attempt. I just came in, I kind of looked at the map, then bought stuff that I thought would work with the map, and just managed to make par easily within 2 minutes. This map has a very generous par. It was really not difficult at all. I thought it would be a bit harder than it actually was, but the minecarts do a really good job of dealing with one side. I was kind of worried because you can't actually block off one side. You do have to deal with both sides at the same time, which makes things harder than they would be otherwise. You could just block off one side, only have to work with the top or the bottom, but what I did basically is I knew there was going to be runners, and I hate runners, so I put brimstone in front of one gate as a last resort for runners, if they were going to be a problem. I don't actually remember there being a lot of runners anyway, but just in case. Maybe there were, but the minecarts really deal with them by themselves, and it wasn't a problem. And then I also used barricades eventually to force the orcs to walk on the minecart tracks. Also, by the way, I am doing this post-com. I was told that maybe I should do it post-com rather than live-com, and why not? I'll do it post-com. Doesn't really matter to me. It just takes a little longer. Not a big deal. It'll probably be a little more educational now that I'm not blathering on while I'm playing. So I always have the ice amulet, or whatever it's called, to deal with tough enemies, especially null hunters, to kill them real quick, to deal with flyers, whatever. And I always have the blunderbuss. I was using the reset trap trinket to help my arrow traps. I use arrow traps on the top side. I had paladins upgraded and ready to go. Also, by the way, the arrow traps were fully upgraded for damage and to do fire damage for just even more damage. And paladins to block corridors if I needed it rather than decoys. I'm still kind of up in the air between decoys and paladins, which are actually better. It seems kind of situational, but now these guys basically will follow the train tracks, and those that don't get hit by minecarts, I'm going to place flippers eventually to deal with them, and arrow traps up here, and then I'm going to do the same thing with a barricade eventually to kind of force them on the minecarts. But this again was the first attempt. I could have definitely done this better, but it was one attempt. It really wasn't that hard. So, though this was done kind of haphazardly, it really wasn't a problem. I didn't need to play that perfectly to get this down. Par was really generous. It was 9 minutes. I did it in like 7 minutes, 11 seconds or something like that. I could have definitely been faster. I could have placed traps faster. I probably should have set up the barricades sooner to force these guys on the minecarts as well, change my cost priority. I also had coin forges ready to go, but the coin forges didn't fit anywhere. So, rather pointless. I should have gone with a scavenger trinket, but cost really wasn't a problem. I never was in any situation where I really needed more money. Wasn't really an issue. Blunderbuss is upgraded for additional damage on the grenades, by the way. The barricades are upgraded to be cheaper. The flippers are upgraded to flip more often and are cheaper. And it was really just an issue of looking at the mini-map, seeing when they were getting close, running over, killing them. Eventually, I'll have brimstone on both sides as a last resort, and also a paladin on both sides as a last resort. If I had a scavenger trinket, I would have been able to get those out faster, but again, it really didn't matter in the long run. This was also my first level of the day, my first level since I got back, so my aim was a little off and blah, 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 but whatever. Again, it really didn't matter. The crossing was really easy. It just wasn't very difficult at all. There was more than enough time to run to either side. There were no flyers to deal with. There were no sappers that were going to rather destroy the barricades. Just wasn't really a problem all the way around. There might be a better strategy than one I used, but to get a higher score. Again, these videos are not there to tell you how to get the absolute best score possible. Frankly, I don't know. I don't really care. I'm not going to go through all the effort of trying to figure out how to get the absolute best score possible to win the ladder on a given level, because it doesn't really matter to me. and this is just to get 5 skulls, and that is basically it. I think it's definitely a very good idea to place barricades, though, to make them walk on the tracks. Minecarts really did a lot of damage, really helped watch the bottom side. I didn't place flippers until really far into the level, actually. That's that.
Let's roll.
Don't really know what else to say about it. It wasn't that in-depth. Since I have the time, I don't usually talk about my personal life. I think I basically never talk about my personal life, but yes, this weekend I went into Chicago, saw my girlfriend. It was a good time. Just got back in a couple hours ago. Took the train. Don't really mind trains, though the metro kind of sucks, I have to say, a lot of the time. Oh, he went flying. The flippers here were just placed in case they got past the barricades and the minecarts and just moved to the left. Then the flippers could deal with them. Freezing the null hunters as they come in. I did take a good deal of damage from just random hits throughout this, so I didn't get untouchable or anything. Huh. That definitely amused me. Quick and easy way to deal with nulls. So we're definitely approaching the end here already. We're going to be moving on to the last wave in a second. Well, we're the second to last wave now, so just a bit after that. Starting to place paladins to watch that side. Decoys might have been better. Don't really know. It's kind of hard to tell. I've used both, and it seems like paladins last a lot longer than decoys, but decoys grab enemies' attention better. Sometimes enemies will just move past the paladin if he's facing enough of them at any given time. I can't stress enough how important it is to have situational awareness in this game and look at your minimap. See, I saw the people were getting close here. I ran up. I dealt with them. I saw that I had breathing room in the bottom, so I could run to the top. I had the opportunity. You could also even use flippers, by the way, on the top and flip them onto the bottom, even, if you wanted to. Flip everybody onto the bottom. But I used arrow traps because I had that wall. And it seemed to work just fine, really. I even thought about using brimstone. I thought about using scorchers. You could line up scorchers along the tracks if you're having problems. Here's the final wave. And I just spent the last of my money really just flippers and I think a paladin, and that was basically it. This last wave wasn't really that bad, honestly. It wasn't really overwhelming. There were ogres in it, but they were very easily dealt with. Ice magic really helps dealing with ogres and just any tough enemies in general. Very, very helpful. By the way, I will be doing co-op pretty soon. Hopefully no later than next Tuesday, but we will see. And as well, I do have a little bit of time. I'm going to put out the end of my Adept series for Mass Effect 3. Somebody asked about it. I'm sorry, guys. I keep forgetting about it. I don't think about it, and it just keeps slipping my mind. I will finally put that out. I've been sitting on it for quite a long time, but I just keep forgetting about it. So I'm going to try to put that out today, actually, once I'm done recording and getting everything good to go. So apologies there. But as you can see, even with the brimstone, nobody really got past me. So it was a nice little last resort, but I don't know if I even really needed it. And there we go, that's it. There's the happy dance. Again, this was the crossing, 5 skulls. And I could have probably definitely gotten a better score. I could have been a lot faster. I kind of just meandered. This was the first attempt. I didn't expect to actually make par in the first attempt, and I didn't know what par was, so I was just kind of derping around, really. Wasn't really that worried. But that's it, guys. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more, and have a good one.